Welcome back to another episode of Practical Nutrition. I'm Sarah.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Amanda.
And today we are going to talk a little bit more about social eating and eating out, but specifically what we should order when we go to eat out, because that's a question that we get a lot. And sometimes I wonder what I should order when I go out too, based on is it going to meet my goals? What am I craving? All of those things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you remember a few weeks ago, we talked about challenges related to eating out and the psychology behind social eating, which was a really interesting thing to dive into research-wise and stuff. And we gave you 4 take-home tips. 1, have a plan. 2, be mindful. 3, strategize. And the last one, try to be social without eating. So today we're going to take it one step further and give you tips on ordering when eating at restaurants. And first and foremost, a disclaimer, you can order whatever you want when you go out to eat. However, we know that eating out is typically part of a normal weekly routine, whether it's, you don't want to cook, you want to go on a date night, you're too busy, you want to socialize, or whatever the reason is. We want you all to be able to go into these situations stress-free and with a plan. And if your plan is to simply enjoy your experience, then enjoy your experience. However, if you need some tips to stay on track, then listen up, because that's what we're talking about today. So we're going to move through just like different take-home points and different tips of what y'all can do whenever preparing for or when you're eating at said restaurant. So Cassie's going to start us out.
Yes, so very important, because this is a common mistake people make, is to eat normally and healthfully throughout the day. So try to eat consistently, and you're much less likely to binge or overeat at your evening meal or your restaurant meal if you do eat your regular meals and snacks. So it doesn't really work well to save up your calories for something in the evening. Typically, you go in kind of hangry. Well, maybe that's just me.
No, that's me too.
but you go in and then you're starving and you aren't setting yourself up to make the best choices, or maybe choices that you wanted to make because you are so hungry, and it is a little bit harder to get full, so you eat more. Also, avoid going more than 4 to 5 hours without eating a meal or snack. So that's something that most people would do typically in their normal eating routine. And I don't know if you have had this happen to you, where you got busy and you missed a meal, missed a snack, and then you overate at the next one. That's pretty common. So 4 to 5 hours is a good general rule to try to stick to. And if you know that you are going to be over 5 hours, to say maybe you had an early lunch or didn't get a snack in, and you know you're going to go out to eat for dinner, you could throw in a fiber-filled carbohydrate and a protein about an hour to an hour and a half before you go eat, to help you not be so hungry whenever you get there, and you might make some better choices. If you are super hungry when you get there, you could order something that would help fill you up that doesn't have a lot of calories, like a broth-based soup. Even a cup of tea or something that you can do to divert your attention and fill up your stomach a little bit could help, or a salad before your meal. Again, watch those salads, because sometimes they can have thousands of calories in them, but if you get a small side salad with mostly veggies and dressing on the side, that can help fill you up without a whole lot of calories.
Yeah. Alex, what's next?
I love that. And that reminds me of like a miso soup. Yes. Like you were saying, I love miso soup. So doing that before like sushi or something always makes me happy. Warm and fuzzy on the inside.
I had that last night.
I love it. Another tip is taking a look over the menu before leaving to go out. Review the menu online before you visit if it is available to you. I do this a lot. If it's somewhere I've never been, just seeing kind of what they offer. It's really easy to be sitting at the table and being like, oh, that sounds really good right in the moment. And then you order it and then you get it and you're like, oh, I should have gotten something different. So having a plan before you go in is very important. This can allow for planning before you order ahead of time, which tends to be more balanced than deciding in the moment and at the table. So looking at the menu ahead of time can be a good key to follow.
Yeah. Amanda, what's next?
Consider your calories that are coming from drinks. This is a biggie. So try to skip sugary drinks like sodas, sweet tea, sugary cocktails. If it's occasional, it's not a big deal. It can be a treat. Order something that you like. But if these types of drinks are part of your routine, they can definitely pose problems through your lifestyle and health journey. Consuming too much sugar too often is associated with weight gain, as we know, and chronic disease and other health issues. Sometimes even one drink can put you outside of that daily range of less than 25 grams of added sugar per day. That's what we want to be aiming for.
Yeah, it can add up quick. Like Alex said, viewing the menu beforehand, this is a time that you can take to kind of pay attention to the wording of some meals. This can help kind of spot high calorie meals and find that high calorie language, which can be a good tool to have in your back pocket. So things like fried, battered, creamy, crispy, gravy, buttery, mayo, aioli, rich, breaded, cheesy, tempura, those are all often associated with higher calorie preparation methods. And so looking for words like grilled, broiled, steamed, blackened, baked, and boiled, these cooking methods are typically cooked with less fat, which is a really easy way to decrease the amount of calories that you're getting, but you're still able to enjoy, the protein in and of itself, just getting it grilled instead of fried. Whatever dish that you're ordering. And you can even too, if it's like a fried fish, you can ask for them to blacken it instead of frying it. Usually restaurants will do that for the most part. So Cassie, what's next?
You can visualize your plate, and this is a great tool because oftentimes people at home eat a little healthier portions, and when you go out, you are really dictated by how much they give you, and often they give you a platter of food. And so if you can visualize what your plate would look like at home and try to replicate that in your restaurant meal as far as serving sizes, that can go a long way, and it can help you just not overeat, even if you're choosing some things that are more fun foods. And add balance to your plate is really important, prioritizing veggies and whole grains. So this is good as far as a positive way to think about eating, which is what we like to promote, is think about what you should be eating or what should be on your plate, and veggies definitely should have a place there. And so if I'm eating pizza or I'm having some amazing sushi, I always want to make sure I'm also having veggies because those can really fill you up and you feel better when you eat them as well. So think about what you can add to your plate. So if you have 3 or 4 sides, how many veggies can you add to your plate and take up some room? Half of your plate can be veggies is what we typically recommend as a general guide, and then you have the other half of your plate where you're not going to get into too much trouble. So it could be a 4th protein and a 4th some sort of carb or grain if that's how you eat. And looking for whole grains, this can be a little bit of a challenge, but it is getting easier, especially since when I started being a dietitian many years ago. And so now they have things like quinoa and brown rice and black rice and different whole grains that you can choose, because often, like I said, you either get like white potatoes or fried grains or white rice. And so now you can sometimes get those other items, and often they're really good as well with how the restaurant prepares them. Also opting for foods with healthy fat, such as olive oil, avocados, nuts, and seeds. So you can look for those on the menu. Take advantage of ordering the fruits as well. Sometimes if everyone's getting a dessert, you might ask if they have berries and whipped cream, for an example. So that would get you some fruit and it would give you something fun that you could eat. I do that at nicer restaurants, and often they have them because they might serve them on a creme brulee or something. So you could ask just for a plate of berries on the side and for your dessert or with your entree. And then you can also ask for vegetables or extra vegetables or more vegetables if that's something that they provide. Or if it's a dish maybe that doesn't have vegetables with it, you can always ask for them on the side. And the waitress or waiter won't get upset with you if you ask for special things for the most part. And if they do, you should go somewhere else. Also go for lean meat, turkey, chicken, or fish. You have to remember that the restaurant business is really trying to make the food taste as good as possible. So oftentimes that means them having richer cuts of meat, and that may be a reason that you like to go out, which is great, but you have to remember that that's going to have a lot more calories than maybe your leaner steak at home. So you might want to have a smaller portion of that. And if you can choose fish out, that's a great thing. A lot of people don't like to cook fish at home, so I try to eat it out as much as possible. And then again, you can build your own meal, and don't be afraid to just order something that's not even on the menu. So sometimes if I see salmon prepared a way that I don't want it, I might say, can I just get that salmon grilled with a side of this and a side of that? And often they'll be able to accommodate you.
Yeah.
Alex, what's next?
Yeah. And I like that too. Like, don't be scared to be the person that is picky ordering. Like, just be that person. Totally embrace it. I love it. And nobody's going to judge you. They're going to be like, dang, maybe I should start taking notes on that kind of stuff. Next is make a choice about what you really want. So sometimes occasionally I'll really want a fry. I'm like, fry sounds so good. So that's what I really want. And then I try to balance my plate around that. I'll try to get like a salmon and broccoli if they have it. And then I have fries, but at least I'm trying to balance out my plate. And that's what I really wanted. And we had a podcast about giving into cravings and that kind of thing and working on balance. And that's a healthy thing. So that would be something I would really want, for example. It shouldn't be a marathon eating session. So like, for example, the bread basket and then the appetizers and then cocktails and then main entrees and then dessert. I know that happens occasionally. One way to kind of get around that would be splitting things and like trying bits and pieces of other people's stuff. I know with COVID and stuff, you gotta be careful, but just making sure that you're balancing and getting a little bite of everything, but try not to make it a huge marathon eating event. Decide what it is that you really want. Choose an app or a dessert, but maybe not both. Or choose alcohol or a bread basket, but maybe not both. Kind of pick those things and decide what you're craving, what you really want, and then balance out the rest of it. You don't have to go all in and crazy just because we're at a restaurant being social, but it is important to find balance and be social, but pick and choose what you're craving.
I was guilty of having that mindset too, because I didn't go out to eat a lot, especially in college. And when I did, I was like, "What can I get in front of me?" It does not have to be like that.
Yeah, I love that, the fries, because I actually got that at Grotto a few days ago.
Yeah.
I got the salad with the salmon and a side of fries.
Yeah, and I did that at the Rock.
Yeah.
I did salmon, broccoli, and then I got their fries.
Yeah.
And I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
We all need some fries in our life.
Yeah.
True.
All right, Amanda, what's next?
So asking for help is okay. Embrace that you can ask for help. And like Alex said, don't be afraid to be that person at the table that makes special requests. Don't be afraid to ask your server to help you, to add a healthy twist to your desired meal. Some are better than others, but it doesn't hurt to ask. For example, you could ask for a salad in place of the usual fries or chips with a meal. You can also ask for items to be prepared with less oil or cheese. Something I do a lot of places is asking, like if I order vegetables, for them to be cooked in olive oil, because a lot of times they just keep like a tube of vegetable oil and they'll just saute things in the vegetable oil. I'd rather have the olive oil, and the server will give you like a look, but that's okay. Ask the server to take away the bread basket and serve salad with dressing on the side. Request an appetizer or a lunch portion of a main meal. A lot of restaurants have lunch-sized portions, which are a little bit smaller than dinner portions. And you can even order off menu, like Cassie said. Ask what vegetarian dishes they have, or if the chef can prepare you something special, like grilled chicken and steamed vegetables.
Yeah, we talk a lot about adding vegetables because I think those things get neglected. When you eat out, and restaurants can prepare veggies in some really good ways that you probably wouldn't do at home. So take advantage of that. You don't have to go for salads. You don't have to go for all of these vegetable options, but definitely take advantage of it if you can.
And I like what Amanda said, the lunch portion thing too. Like Nicola's, for example, if you're like a big pasta person, it's really easy for them to like overserve and give you a huge portion. Not just there, but most pasta places. But they'll do like lunch portions of things, or like half portions. And that just kind of helps you portion things out more.
Or you can split it with your date or whoever's with you.
Yes.
A lot of times a split portion is enough to fill you
Oh,
up.
absolutely. Yeah.
Cassie, what's next?
So you also can eat what you crave. And this is really important because you don't want to feel like you're depriving yourself, or you can never eat that food that you're craving or that you love. If something sounds delicious, order it, eat it, and stay present while you're enjoying it. So slow down, think about the flavors, and oftentimes if you do slow down and you really enjoy it without the guilt, you are satisfied with less of it because you're not just trying to get past it so you can get back to your healthy eating. And sometimes guilt-driven eating is like that. You just want to get it over with, and so you do it as quickly as possible, and then you miss out on enjoying it, and you feel guilty. So slow down and enjoy it. Be present, and know that it is okay to eat food just for pure enjoyment. So I'm a big foodie person. I love food. I love going to restaurants and trying different things, and so you shouldn't feel like you can't do those things and stay healthy at the same time. Throw out the treat mentality that we often adopt when eating out. Be selective about which treat and when you really want to indulge in. And again, you want to have that intention going forward with it. And so if it's something that you enjoy enjoy, just say, I enjoy this. It's fun for me. I like eating this food, and that's okay. Don't feel like you're cheating or anything like that whenever you go in to have that. And again, just like Alex was saying, just because you're eating out doesn't mean you have to eat everything. I think one of the biggest things that I've done over the years is picking and choosing what I really want and enjoying that, and then eating healthy foods for the rest of it. So, if I go to Ocean's Inn, for example, and I know Alex orders like the same thing I do, but I get the salad, and I love the tuna, and I enjoy a glass of wine, and for dinner I really like their bread. So it's kind of, I get all the things, but the bread and olive oil I really enjoy at dinner time, and so I'm not going to also get sushi that has rice. So I'm picking and choosing. I do have the bread and the wine, but I don't have dessert. There's the balance. So you can pick and choose, and again, eat what you crave, eat what you enjoy, and being okay with that sometimes can help you eat less.
Yeah. Alex is going to wrap us up with our last one.
Yes, eat to your hunger. Check in with your hunger throughout the meal. Restaurant portions can be huge, kind of what we talked about. So definitely be sure that you're really only eating until you're satisfied, which I know can be difficult, but slowing down, thinking about how great the food is, setting your fork down between bites, taking sips of water or wine between bites can help you slow down and kind of realize if you're satisfied. And then there is going to be a point, if you keep eating past that satisfaction, you're going to become overly full, and I'm sure we're all guilty of this. Mm-hmm. It's an uncomfortable feeling when you get home and then you're unbuttoning your jeans because you're like, oh my gosh, I overate. It's never a good feeling. So check in with yourself and your hunger.
Yeah, and it feels better to eat a satisfying amount. You have a positive relationship with the meal that you just ate and the restaurant that it was at. So create that positive memory rather than being uncomfortable and not wanting to eat that again because you weren't able to control your portion sizes.
Mm-hmm. And I love that we're talking about this because how many of you guys, we're dietitians and this is what we do for a living, but we practice these things. Yeah, and if you expect yourself to go into Thanksgiving Day, or for an example, that's coming up, but without ever practicing that mindful, slow eating and not getting over full, you're probably not going to be successful. This is something that we practice all year long, and we've learned how to do it. It's a learned behavior, and so I encourage you to really go out and try things that you enjoy just for the fun of it, but without overeating, because that's a very doable and realistic way to stay healthy and be healthy. And be successful when you go into holidays or parties and things like that.
Yeah, right. Just another day. Yeah, when you develop those habits for sure. Okay, so let's talk about the bottom line. First of all, try out the tips that we've provided the next time you sit down at a restaurant and just see how they impact your decision making. What worked? What didn't? What can you try next time? It's all about trial and error with this healthy lifestyle journey. But while healthy eating is the goal, it's absolutely positively okay to splurge on occasion. We do it. We want you to do it. But just, be able to balance out your lifestyle if eating out is something that you participate in regularly. Order what you want, determine what textures and what flavors sound good to you. Cassie said she really likes the bread and the oil, so she works her meal around that, which is awesome. And it is okay to order a cheeseburger and fries or a dish full of veggies or a combination of both. You can have those times where you splurge. You can have those times where you practice making that plate look like a meal that you would prepare at home, or you can do a little bit of a combination of both to throw some balance in there. And if you force yourself to eat something that doesn't really sound good, this may lead to making even worse decisions later to try and satisfy those cravings. So if you got a salad with chicken and no carbs and you didn't enjoy anything, when you get home you might be more apt to have 3 desserts or have bread and then fries or whatever. You could turn into like a binge eating episode because you didn't initially satisfy that craving that you had when you walked into that situation. So think about that too. And if you enjoy grabbing food out, don't think you have to stop if you want to stay healthy. With some prep and some substitutions, you can order meals that are as nutritious as the ones that you prepare at home. All right, that's it. Anything else?
No, I like this topic.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
It's things that people talk to us about all the time, and like Cassie said, we've practiced all of these things, and it's a learning process, and we want you guys to figure out what works best for you too. So, all right, that wraps us up with what we should order at restaurants. It's different for everyone, and what you're craving and what restaurant you're going to. So try these things out. Let us know how they go, and we will see you guys on our next episode.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.